Okay, welcome students. For those that are in grade 7, today in social studies, we have a very interesting topic. My name is Mr. Perry from Future Guide Academy. Today in social studies, we are looking at the government. Now, as we begin, for those that have heard the term probably from news or even the people that are close to you, the first thing under this topic, you're supposed to know how to define the government. Now, how can we define this term, government? Now, in simpler terms, we can say the government, this is a group of people who lead or govern a country. The government is a group of people who lead or govern the country. Let's write that point. We are saying this is a group of people who lead or govern a country. Who lead or govern the country. Mainly when we are talking about the government, we are talking about those that are in forefront, leading or ensuring that all affairs of the country go on well. Now, as we go into details, we are supposed to understand to say the government is made up of a group of people. So then, let's identify organs or parts of the government. The government has got parts, and these parts, as they work together, that's how all things in the country move on very well. In Zambia, the government is divided into 3 organs, which are 1, the legislature, 2, the judiciary, and 3, we've got the executive. 3 organs, the legislature, the judiciary, as well as the executive. Let's write those. We are saying organs of the government. Organs of the government. We have said there are 3. We've got 1, the legislature, and then we've got 2, which is the executive, and then we've got 3, which is the judiciary. So meaning these 3 organs, they make up the government of Zambia. So each organ has got its own part. Each organ, that's the legislature, the executive, as well as the judiciary, they have got their own parts to play. Now this time, let's look at each and every organ, as well as we look at what is their part that they play in the government of Zambia. Let's begin with the legislature. The first one is the legislature. Now, under this, the legislature, others call this as the National Assembly, others will also say Parliament. Now, the legislature is the part or the organ of government that make up laws of the country. So the main duty or function of the legislature is to make what? Laws of the country. So we are saying main duty, main function is to make laws. Of the country. They are saying the main duty is to make laws of the country. So these laws in the legislature, they are made in Parliament or in the National Assembly. So we are saying laws are made in Parliament or in the National Assembly. Now, what you are supposed to know about the legislature is that the legislature is made up of 150 members of Parliament. The legislature is made up of 150 members of Parliament which are voted by people across the country. We are saying it's made up of 150 members of Parliament. members of Parliament. These members of Parliament or MPs are voted across the country. 150. Now, these 150 are not the only ones that are always found in Parliament. We also have 8 nominated members of Parliament. When we say nominated, these 8 are chosen by the President. Remember, the President is given power. So there are also 8 nominated members of Parliament. So we have 8 nominated MPs, members of Parliament. So these, they make up the legislature. And then the other thing that you're supposed to know, when you go in Parliament or the National Assembly, the one that is in charge of the legislature is called the Speaker of the National Assembly. He's the one that takes charge. When the President goes here, when the other people go here, they're under the what? The Speaker of the National Assembly. So you're saying the one in charge is the Speaker. Is the Speaker. Right now, if you know in Zambia, the Speaker of the National Assembly is Dr. Patrick Matibenya. They keep on changing. Sometimes when government changes, they can appoint another one. But the current one is Dr. Patrick Matibenya. So that is what you are supposed to know about the legislature at your level in grade 7. The next part is the executive. Let's look at the executive first, and then we'll also look at what are the parts that they play. The second part is the executive, which is the second organ of the National Assembly. Now, this organ, which is the second one, work hand in hand with the legislature. Now, what is their function? The function of the executive is to carry out laws. When laws have been made in the legislature, they are supposed to be taken to the people in the community. Who does that? The executive is the one that does that duty. So we are saying the executive, they carry out laws. When laws have been made, they are supposed to be taken to the people in the community. Who does that? The executive. Now, what is this organ? Remember to say the executive is the part that is led by the president of the country. The executive is led by the president of the country. The one on top is the president, followed by the vice president, as well as under the vice president, we've got cabinet ministers and other civil servants. So this is how it goes. We are saying on top, we've got the president under the executive. Right now, who is Dr. Edgar Chagwa. The second one, we've got the vice president, and then under that, we've got cabinet ministers. These cabinet ministers are appointed by the president. We've got cabinet ministers appointed, and then down there, we've got civil servants. Civil servant. So this is how laws are carried out in the country. The president gets the laws, directs to the vice president through the cabinet ministers and civil servants, people that are employed by the government. They ensure that these laws are carried in the country. And that's how the executive runs. That is the second part. And then the third part, we want to look at the judiciary. which is the last part or the last organ of the government. The last organ of the government. Now, the third one, which is the judiciary. Now, the judiciary is the third organ of the government, and it's also very important. Why? Because these enforce laws. Meaning, what do we mean when we say the judiciary enforces laws? When laws have been made in the parliament, when laws have been distributed or carried out in the community, now the people in the community are supposed to follow. Now, if others are not following, what is supposed to be done? They're supposed to be forced or ensure that laws are being followed by the people. Who does that? The judiciary. Now, the judiciary is under the leadership of the Chief Justice. Country has got the Chief Justice, and the Chief Justice has got their own members of people who ensure that laws are followed or always carried out in the country. So we are saying this is led by the Chief Justice. Now, to ensure that laws are carried out, the judiciary has got their own way on how they handle issues. Those people that break laws are taken to different courts. There are a number of courts which handle a number of cases in Zambia, starting with the local court up to the Supreme Court, as we are going to check in the next topic. So for now, students, let's go through what we've discussed. The first part, we looked at the government, we defined, we also looked at organs, the judiciary, the executive, as well as the legislature, as well as ensuring different functions. Now, if you are able to remember, get your books so that we do a recap with an exercise. Okay.